You're listening to Trek FM.
Hello and welcome to From There to Here, Trek FM's 50th anniversary rewatch of Star Trek, in which we look at all 729 episodes of Star Trek from beginning to end. I'm Mike from Stage 9.
Hi, I'm Brandon, and I didn't forget today to introduce my name.
Good. I'm glad that people know who you are. And today we are going to say goodbye to our old friend Deep Space Nine with What You Leave Behind. And then we're going to get full on into Voyager with Juggernaut. So let's get started with What You Leave Behind. As the Dominion War comes to an end, Dukat goes to the Pa-Wraiths to awaken them. Meanwhile, the Dominion turn on the rebelling Cardassians, destroying them city by city. Will the Alliance prevail over the Dominion? Will Garrick and the Rebellion stop them before the destruction of Cardassia? Will Sisko stop the Pa-Wraiths from rising? I don't know. What do you think?
Will.
Oh, okay. So, what did you think about What You Leave Behind?
I think this is the best series finale of all the Star Treks.
Yeah, I'd
personally,
agree with that.
I mean, it ties up everything so nicely. I think it helps that they've been tying up the knots, tying up the storylines and the threads of the people over the last few episodes, right? But it is a very satisfactory ending to the series. Aside from the fact that I want a season 8, it is a very satisfactory ending to the series. There's some really amazing things in this episode that you don't quite realize as you're going along over the 7 years, I think. I mean, in this one here, they go, like, one of the main things at the beginning that gets me is guest stars in alphabetical order, and the listing of all the characters, like the actors and their character names. You know, it's such a touching tribute to all the people that have contributed to make Deep Space Nine this epic masterpiece of modern storytelling, you know? And they treat everybody with this respect to take the time and put all of the characters' names in it. I love it. I think it's great. I'm as I get older, I'm more and more happy that the final confrontation of this is the Fire Caves battle rather than the war. When the first time I watched this, I'm like, why didn't this end with the war? What is all this other stuff? But I mean, when you watch the series as a whole, that's where it started, was with the wormhole and the emissary, and Sisko becoming the emissary. So to finish with that and finish with his sacrifice is awesome, and I think very poetic.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'd have to agree that this is the best finale as well. I mean, I think I kind of see it as, you know, the end of a 10-hour story, so I have trouble separating this, you know, from the others. But, yeah, I mean, All Good Things, I think, in a lot of ways is a perfect series finale as sort of like a self-contained story. The Undiscovered Country, I think, is another, you know, very, very good wrap-up to 25 years worth of stories. But this, I think, is sort of like the best ending that you could possibly have, because I feel like instead of it just saying, like, the final adventure or a reflection on what we've done for the past 7 years, this is like an actual ending. You know, there will be no more adventures after this. And I mean, I guess Undiscovered Country was the same way, but it was more like this is the final adventure, where it's like this is the end of the adventure, you know, which has been going on for 7 years. And I think that is really kind of like a testament to Deep Space Nine on the whole, you know, not just this 2-hour episode, but the entire 7-year run. And I really love, more than anything, the way that they wrap up each character and sort of like give them their own ending and put them in a place which they had all been trying to sort of get to from the beginning. You know, everybody has their own, you know, sort of like unique ending, which is completely appropriate to that character. And I think that's one of the things which I really love about it, is how They wrap up all those storylines and how they don't keep things just the way they are. Like Voyager, I mean, obviously they get home. Next Gen, everyone is sort of just like in the same place that they were, even though we've had this sort of like reflection on their time together. And the original series, they're just kind of like aging out in a sense, really. But here it's like everyone's moving on to the next stage in their lives, and they're not the same stage. They're not all staying put. Very few of them are, and it's an evolution, and I think that's pretty great.
Right. And I mean, like, Deep Space Nine is a show that was like, it was constantly changing. Like they had a form that they wanted to get to, I think, and whatnot, but it was changing all the time, and it was very fluid. Like when they got to season 4 and they introduced the Klingon arc because they decided they want to add Worf, like it added a whole new aspect to it, right? So to have the show finish with all this fluidity as well fits for the show. It fits that Worf's going to go on and be an ambassador. It fits that O'Brien's going to go back to Earth and become a teacher, It fits that Sisko's no longer on the station because he's in the wormhole and he's now a god or something like that, right? So, I don't know, like it's very fluid, and it fits with the show's fluidity throughout the 7-year run, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I mean, it's interesting. Like I remember reading an article. For some reason, there was some question as to whether or not Deep Space Nine would come back for a season 7. Like, I don't think that there was ever really any doubt, but it wasn't like a done deal at some point. And it was like in season 6 that they did, like, I think they did those interviews in like the Star Trek Communicator with like Ira Stephen Bear. And they were like talking about it or whatever. And I remember, him saying, like, in early season 6, he's like, if we only get 6, like, we want 7 seasons, we're planning on 7 seasons, but if we only get 6 seasons, that's fine. I know exactly how this show is going to end. I could write the finale today, And obviously they did get 7 seasons and everything, but that, to me, was really sort of telling about this show, in that it's not like All Good Things where they're like, what are we doing? Okay, all right, I mean, like, here he's like, I know how this thing's gonna end, a year and a half out, probably a lot earlier than that, and he did it. He ended it. He stuck the landing, and it's the best Star Trek show.
I would agree. The only thing I don't buy in this, Lieutenant Nog, after 3 years, including his time at the Academy. Really?
Well, isn't that how Kirk was?
I don't know. That's pretty freaking quick. The guy's he goes from cadet to full lieutenant within 3 years.
Yeah, I'm sure Harry Kim was happy to find out about that one when he got back home.
I just watched the Voyager one where Tom Paris gets demoted for that water planet one and then re-promoted in Unimatrix Zero Part 1. Right back to lieutenant a year and a half later, and Harry Kim's like, I didn't see no box on my chair. Anywho.
Yeah. Oh,
so,
well.
I want to say here, there's a couple of times in Star Trek that just rip my heart out, right? And like make me bawl. And the montage at the end of this, with the music playing, like completely rips my heart out, and I love it. It's great. It's so sad and beautiful. And the another time in the Star Trek franchise, I'm not going to get a chance to talk about it, but in the Voyager episode Pathfinder, when they finally are in communication with Earth, like that's the other time where it just rips my heart out and makes me cry. But I love it. I think it's great, and it's a wonderful payoff for the episode. Tears, the tears of the Brandon.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I don't know. I mean, I think I like the sentiment behind it, and I like its sort of placement and everything. But every time I watch it, I can't help but think there's no Jadzia here. That's so weird. It's just like this weird missing thing, and because of that, I can't really appreciate it while it's happening, because I just keep on thinking like it's not complete. There's a weird thing missing.
Yeah. They got Ezri, though.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's the same thing.
Okay, yeah. Anyways,
well, now that we're done with Vix, now we have Fairhaven to look forward to.
Yeah, it's coming up, right?
You got it. Not in this episode, but...
No, No. On with the Voyager. Voyager is on the clock. Let's do this. It's your time to shine, little Voyager. Let's get started with Juggernaut. This is the episode where they see the Malons again, and they're more garbage dumpers. And they're dumping garbage, and they have a little bit of an accident, and now their ship is going to explode and kill everyone within 3 light years. So a team led by B'Elanna, well, I guess kind of, needs to save the day and not let everyone get killed. So what did you think about Juggernaut?
So this is one of the things that really upsets me about Voyager, and they address it in the episode, so I kind of forgive them in this one here, right? Tongue-in-cheek, they say it. But, like, didn't they travel 20,000 light years using Borg technology? Why are there more Malon? Like, they passed these Malon in, like, 1 or 2 episodes of Season 5 right at the beginning, and then they got a bunch of Borg technology to shoot them all past it, and in that 2-parter movie, what is it, Dark Frontier, or whatever it was called, and it's like, really? Like, they're still using the same aliens? They address it tongue-in-cheek in the episode, but it's like, they're trying to go for no continuity, but then, I don't know. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's frustrating, for sure. I mean, I guess they figured they had one more good Malon story in them, you know? And we should say this episode was co-written by Bryan Fuller, so...
Mm-hmm. The Ron Canada's a great guest star in this one. We had him once before. He played the Klingon lawyer in... I can't remember the name of it. The one where Worf's on trial for shooting that transport. So
he was originally cast as Martok.
Was he?
Yeah, and he had to like back out at the last minute, and that's how J.G. Hertzler got the job. And the two of them used to be like roommates or something too. So it's weird.
Crazy.
Anyway, yeah,
that's awesome. But this Vihaar idea of this haunted, boogeyman inside of the deep radiation, and turns out to just be a worker who's trapped under there. What's this guy been eating? If he's like radioactive trapped for like, I don't know. And
the part that I found to be weird about that is they're like, it's the monster. And they're like, what monster? And then the guy's like, don't listen to that guy. It's like when someone says that their factory is haunted or something like that. Clearly, there is no monster downstairs. There's no reason to think that these things exist. It's, just a folk tale that crazy people say. And then, Chakotay's like, we'll see about that. It's like, can you imagine if someone said that, I used to work at a movie theater and they're like, the projection booth is haunted. And I spent all my time in the projection booth, and people would be like, whenever we get a new employee, they'd be like, is it true that the booth is haunted? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's totally true. And it's like, obviously the booth is not haunted. It would be like an alien coming to that movie theater and some random employee being like, it's probably the ghost in the booth. And then me saying obviously you're insane. And then the alien saying, we'll see about that. What? Come on, Chakotay. I know I'm bashing Chakotay again, but you know what? When Chakotay says lines like that, you can't help but bash him, right?
He's connected to the rubbers.
What?
Chakotay, he's connected to the rubber tree people.
Okay, it sounded really bad for a second there, but whatever. Let's move on.
Anywho, I don't know. It's okay. It's fine. I like the Malon as a species. I think they're neat, but I don't think this episode works, and I don't think this episode works here.
You're the only one. Everyone from there to here at least thinks the Malon are just as garbage as the whatever theta radiation that they're hauling. Come on. We've brought this up a million times now, but it's literally like a race of garbage men,
people.
Yeah. And it's like, obviously they talk about them. It's like, this is not the only thing that these people do. How come every time we see them, we see the garbage people?
Right, but okay, so then let's talk about this for a second. They're not the race of garbage people. The people that we're meeting are the garbage people.
Yes, why do we keep on meeting the garbage people?
Because there's a lot of them. They're polluting. They're really bad.
Okay, All right.
Right. But I mean, like, even in this episode, they talk about it. They're like, look, some people do the dangerous work because they can make more in one trip than you can make in like a lifetime or whatever, right?
I don't have any problem with that. If we had seen them one time, that would be great. But this is, I think, our third time with the Malon, and all 3 times, all we've seen are the garbage people.
Right. And again, I agree. I like the Malon. I don't like this episode. I don't think it works, right? I mean, the first one I think is really good, right? The episode Night that we come across them. I think that's cool.
I don't know.
Well, I guess that's it. I got nothing else.
Yeah, so, all right. Well, goodbye, Deep Space Nine. It was nice knowing you. It's time to fly away, and watch as the station gets smaller, starting on, Kira's head and, going back and back and back. And, I'd like to say that we'll be back, but we won't. But, hey, now we're all into the Voyager, so that's cool. And we'll be back tomorrow with 2 episodes of Voyager, Someone to Watch Over Me, and 11:59.